Speaking of, let's go ahead and pick up this recording. We are stopping at Mama's because Iris has something to say to us. But when we come in, I don't see Mama anywhere. Alright, Meeps, you would have met Mama, but Oda's sitting at the counter now?
Tessa!
This is our stalker. I'm not sure if you remember Oda.
Oh, Ota.
He's already mad at us for hanging out with, quote-unquote, his girl. And your phone broken?
No, this is my new one. You're thinking of the one I dropped in that puddle.
Yeah, the 4 account dude. Where's Mama?
Oh, she left a little while ago. She said something about going to help an acquaintance.
Oh, okay.
She told me to watch the place until she got back.
How well do you know Mama?
Not at all. It's my first time here.
I wasn't particularly surprised. Mama's always depended on the kindness of strangers ever since she opened Marble. Why are you here?
I was nihiling with Tessa earlier.
Yeah, I noticed.
She said she was going to Marble, so I got here just before you did. Look, I was really worried about her. She was about to be charged with a serious crime.
What was that thing about, by the way?
This actually works out nicely. I want to ask you something, Ota. It's about a Nile message you sent Iris. You said you wouldn't tell anyone about that thing. That you'd stay quiet no matter what. What were you talking about?
Well,
I'll tell her about the two-witter thing. I swear I'll do it.
geez, fine. Just don't tell anyone else, okay? But before I tell you, who's that?
Who's who?
What?
At the door. Someone's standing outside.
Oh shit, it's Mizuki, isn't it? Oh! Are you serious? I was not expecting that at all. What the fuck? What? My dude actually brought a taser? How deep does this go? When I woke up, I was lying on the sofa.
Where am I?
My head was killing me, my memory was foggy. I felt a sudden pain in my neck. I shot up, rubbing my neck. When I looked over at the counter, I saw a monster staring back at me. It took me a few seconds before I realized it was just Mama.
It looks like you're awake now.
As Mama spoke to me, it all came rushing back. I remembered everything. What time is it?
It'll be 3 o'clock soon.
Mama do got some big old booba, that is true.
In the morning, of course.
Why didn't you wake me up?
I tried. You wouldn't budge. I thought you were passed out drunk, so I left you like that.
But I didn't have a glass in front of me, right?
So you weren't drunk?
No.
Didn't have a single drop.
Oh, I thought you were drinking straight out of the bottle. Just like the old days.
Where's Oda? Do you know?
Ota? The boy I asked to watch the bar?
Yeah.
I'd say he's too old to be called a boy, but yeah.
He was already gone when I came back. All I saw was you getting your beauty sleep on the floor.
Yeah.
Damn it, Ota. What are you thinking?
It appears that he took off with Iris.
Yeah, no
What were you
surprise.
doing during all this?
My power was shut down due to the stun gun. I have rebooted in safe mode and am now operational. Date, the boss is calling.
How am I gonna report this one?
We already turned Mama down multiple times.
Date, listen. Stay calm, but this is an emergency. Just now, the killer... Well, just watch the video. I sent the address to Iba.
Iris. No, that's
That's her dream!
Streaming this live.
That's her dream!
Iba, the source.
Where?
Verified. The Okiura Fishery Cold Storage Warehouse, Koto District.
Okiura?
Date, focus. We need to get to the site, now.
I thanked Mama and ran out of marble. If my food comes during this cutscene, I am going to be so mad.
What's our ETA?
Our destination is far from here. 20 minutes at the fastest.
20 minutes?
Please let me make it in time.
It's still being live streamed. This sick fuck.
Bastard.
He's wearing a bear suit, bro! No. No.
Tessa! Hold on, I'll save you!
And Oda's here too? And they just let Oda stop it?
Stay away from Tessa! Ah!
Oh man, he's gonna be the hero. He's gotta fight off that bear for 20 minutes. I kept my foot to the gas the whole time. I can feel the sweat on my palms. Knees weak, arms are heavy. The engines raised up a high-pitched scream, but I could barely hear it. My heartbeat was pounding in my ears, shaking me to my core. How much time had passed? The feeling of time itself had disappeared. Eventually, the car reached a lawn bridge. Shortly after, the image changed. The bear's turning it back on. Okay.
No, it can't be.
Okay, it's turning it back on.
No.
We don't know what happened to, Oda.
Stop!
It's getting closer. It's going down. It's going down. It's going down. Oh, oh, don't call the...
No!
Harbor Warehouse District, Monday, 3:55 a.m. What? Is that real? Did the camera get switched?
Ota.
Oh! And we just go to the next day? Oh, fuck.
There you are. Finally. I was looking all over for you.
So, before we continue, let's get this straight. Ota, with a grin on his face, tases us, runs away with Tessa, don't know where they go, somehow end up at the warehouse that was inside Iris's Somnia. Turns out, Killer's there, has already gouged out Iris's Iris, and is going to kill her. Sometime after, Ota comes in, stops the saw from going off, supposedly gets in a scuffle with the killer. Later on, the live stream starts up again. We see Iris get killed. We see that. Literally saw it in half. We get to the scene, and it is not Iris that's dead. Iris is off to the side, bleeding out from her eye. And it's Ota who's actually dead, cut in half, put in the suit. There has to be there's another person there. We know that because we saw the bear suit on screen with Ota. I think. Unless I'm misremembering. Ota did not lose his eye, but was still killed.
It's rare to see you down like this. But it's understandable. You blame yourself for this, don't you? Beating yourself up about taking Iris to Marble, and about letting Ota get the upper hand on you. Am I right? Shall I tell you what Investigation HQ thinks? Ota Matsushita is a criminal stalker who committed murder-suicide.
That's the angle they're taking this?
Ota had a selfish love for Iris. He was under the delusion that Iris loved him too. But Iris refused Ota. So Ota decided that he and Iris should be together in the afterlife, killed her, then killed himself.
She's dead? She still died? That wasn't her bleeding out. She's dead too? Oh, don't play it again, man!
That's ridiculous. Ota would never kill Iris.
that was only the top half of her? Did I miss her entire body? Or was it, like, cut off? Did I miss that?
And how do you explain the other two murders? Iris's left eye was hollowed out,
Yes.
just like Renju and Shoko. Those 3 murders were definitely
Those,
executed
yeah, those are all by the
same
same person, and they're intentional.
The new Cyclops killer. There's no way that's Ota. Too many pieces don't fit. Too many contradictions, like killing Iris.
Such as?
How Oda was acting during the video, for one. He stops
Stay
it.
away from Tessa!
He runs away.
Ota showed himself on the stream. If he was gonna kill Iris and then himself, why would he do that? The only reason you would show yourself like that is to prove that you weren't the culprit. Ota and the polar bear on the screen at the same time would prove that they're not the same person.
Correct.
That behavior would be totally unnecessary if he was gonna commit suicide anyway.
Well, maybe he wasn't planning on dying at first.
Wrong button, sorry.
After he killed Iris, he realized that he couldn't live with himself.
So he lies down
So
on the
he-
workbench and turns on the ice cutting machine himself?
He can't even reach it from the bench.
I don't buy it.
He also has no incentive to kill Renju.
Maybe he was thinking like this.
They were on... It cut away, that is true. But what we're trying to point out is the fact that regardless if they're on screen or not, what reason does Oda have to even show himself? Because there's no obfuscation going on. At the end of the day, he is supposedly saving his Tessa. There's no reason to kill himself after. It doesn't make sense in that. It doesn't make sense with that line of reasoning.
The reason Iris and I can't be together is because her agency prohibits it, making the president, Renju, the ultimate bad guy in his mind.
Then what does that have to do with his mother, then?
Mizuki
Her
is
mother,
Ota's
then.
close friend.
Tessa's real killer feels good, man. That is definitely some copium.
Do you really think Ota would kill his friend's father?
Good meme. He also has he has zero incentive to kill Shoko. He didn't even know who she was. And there's no way for him to
Shoko
know
was
who she
married
was.
to Renju.
Doesn't matter. There's no way for him to gain that information because Mitsuki never told him.
Maybe he was trying to get at Renju by killing her.
That's a stretch. They've been divorced for years. Ota knows all about it. He wouldn't use Shoko to get to Renju.
And we still got, like we said, the whole costume thing.
The culprit was wearing a polar bear costume, probably to hide their identity. But if murder-suicide was the plan, the costume served no purpose.
There are some additional discrepancies. I analyzed the investigation report. Judging by his wound, Ota was stabbed in the side by a kitchen knife or something similar.
And that's how he actually died, and it was put in the suit after.
Are you sure?
I am.
Oh, I know that.
Well,
Anything to say, boss?
Ota could have stabbed himself.
Yeah, he stabbed himself in the side, tied himself to the machine, then pulled the switch on the machine. In that entire time, before that, he also moved Tessa's body to the side in the corner. He did all of that in 10 minutes.
Maybe he thought it would be a fatal wound, but when it didn't work, he went for the ice cutting
That
machine.
makes zero sense whatsoever. A stomach wound is not a fatal wound.
then shouldn't we have recovered the kitchen knife from the scene?
Maybe he threw it in the ocean.
She is pissing me off with that face right now. I really feel like she's trying to aggravate us to get us motivated, and it's not working. It's actually making me want to punch her.
Boss, come on. Ota goes out to the water, stabs himself in the gut, throws the knife over the side, then walks back to the warehouse?
Yeah, exactly. Then sets himself up on the table. This
Well,
is
I
some...
wasn't being serious.
I would hope not. I'd have to fucking turn my badge, punch you in the face, and then go investigate on my own.
I didn't think Ota was the culprit from the beginning.
Why are you wasting my
I
time?
was just playing devil's advocate for HQ.
Really?
Yes, really.
So what's
Anyway,
HQ actually want us to
Ota
do?
didn't kill anyone, and he didn't kill himself. Here's what I think happened.
Stay away from Tessa!
Goes
Ota
in.
knew Iris was kidnapped, so he rushed onto the scene. That's when he saw the culprit wearing the polar bear costume.
Yep.
He tried to fight him off, but ended up being stabbed in the side. He was weakened and losing blood at the culprit's mercy. The culprit forced him into the costume, then under the ice cutting machine. And then...
Then it happened.
Then, who is the culprit?
We don't
I
know.
wish I knew.
We're up to 4 victims, but Ota was a special circumstance. He wasn't specifically
Oda was not
targeted
meant
by
to
the
be
culprit.
killed
Right. And he was the only one to not have his eye pulled out.
because it was too last minute. So, and he's also he doesn't fit anything the killer is currently looking for.
So let's focus on the 3 other victims. Shoko, Renju, and Iris. What connects these 3?
Connections.
If you find a connection between the victims, you find a connection to the culprit. That's the theory of investigation, right?
Yeah.
You think the new Cyclops killer is related to them somehow?
The only connection I can think of at the moment is Iris's mother. Iris's mother knew all 3 and is connected to all of them personally.
Maybe, maybe not. But it's a good starting point.
Iris's mother.
Hitomi and Renju are definitely linked. They were high school classmates, and she did say that she met Shoko twice. But I can't imagine she would kill Iris in such a gruesome way.
You can't? She's weird, bro.
No matter what the circumstances were, it seems impossible to me.
I don't agree with that. Definitely not Moma. Definitely not Oda's mother. And Mizuki's the only other option, but obviously that's not the case because she was with us during the murder.
Mizuki has the strongest connections with all 3 victims. Shoko and Renju were her parents, and she was close friends with Iris. She was good friends with Ota too. But that's why I could never believe Mizuki would kill all 4 of them.
She does not have the opportunity to.
Thinking of her as a suspect is ridiculous.
This is a dumb one.
He
Oh!
only had motive for killing Iris and Renju.
We're gonna have to explain this one too to her mom.
Mayumi hated Iris, and she didn't think well of Lemnis Gate either. And since Renju is the president... Anyway, the weak point is Renju's ex-wife, Shoko. I can't imagine why Mayumi would kill her.
Correct.
And above all else, she would never harm her only son, let alone kill him. Renju and Shoko were connected to the Kumakuras.
This is a throwaway.
But there's no
No
connection,
connection to Iris. So, Sejima? I don't think he works either.
Renju, Shoko, and So. There is a connection between Renju and Shoko through the Kumakuras. But again, I can't see any clear link to Iris.
I'm the only one left.
I know Renju and Shoko, and I'm connected to Iris, but I have an alibi. Aside from Shoko, there's no way I could have killed any of them. No, now that I think about it, Shoko too. I don't remember killing her. My memories from 6 years ago are missing, but I still have my memory of recent events. And if I start doubting myself now...
Date, I can say without a doubt that there is 0 possibility you are the new Cyclops killer.
Can you say there is no doubt that I am the old Cyclops killer?
I have been working with you for years. I know better than anyone that you are innocent.
I think you've been keeping me innocent.
I thought it over, boss. Of the people I know, I can't peg any of them as the murderer.
You could definitely peg the mother as a possible suspect.
And no leads to pursue?
No.
Then there's only one thing you can do. Continue your investigation. Do whatever it takes to get the culprit, to get justice for the victims.
You're right. Got it, boss.
Good Lord Almighty. Where do we even start? Scene of the murder? Let's start. No. Let's start with the hard one. Let's start at the diner. Sorry, my mouse is on the screen. The place was silent. It was so quiet, I felt like I could hear the floating dust. I stepped inside. I thought it was empty, but I saw a shadow in the corner of my eye. It was Mayumi. It was like watching a decaying old tree cling pathetically to the earth. I'm sorry to interrupt. There's 2 pairs of shoes here. Maybe one of them sodas.
This is your fault. I heard from the police. Because you didn't take care of Iris, my boy Ota got involved.
Date, I looked into the investigation report. Mayumi confirmed Ota's body early this morning.
Oh.
I see.
I'm sorry. I want to be alone right now. Did you not hear me? I said leave!
Date, let's go. She is in no state to talk.
Yeah, you're right.
Like I said, we got the hard one out of the way. Time for number 2. I want to see what the creepy mother has to say. If she's even there. When I visited the Sagan household, I found Hitomi with this hollow look in her eyes. She let me in and asked me to sit on the sofa. I agreed and sat down. But after that, I couldn't say a single word. The heavy silence weighed on both of us.
Hitomi, my entire focus is on this case. Is there anything at all you can tell me?
I don't know if this is important, but
No, please. Tell me.
I may have told you this already. I met Renju's wife Shoko twice before.
Yes.
The first time at the wedding, the second time a month ago. That second time was in the waiting room of the prison.
Prison?
There's an acquaintance of mine from when we were younger.
Someone we could have gotten a phone call from.
I visit them a few times a year. And by coincidence, I saw Shoko. I don't think she noticed me, but I recognized her as Renju's wife right away. She was there for the same reason I was, to visit one of the inmates.
Do you know who?
No, I don't. We didn't talk.
Which prison?
Fuchu Prison, in Tokyo.
Yeah,
Fuchu.
Prison?
that's right.
Iris was my everything. We always went everywhere together. Whether it was buying clothes, or going to the movies, or taking a walk, or going shopping at the supermarket. When she was young, she would just hold one of my fingers. Her hand was too small to hold mine. Then it was 2, then 3, and finally she could hold my hand. But eventually, she left my hands altogether. She started crossing her arms, being independent. Even though she needed constant attention growing up. Her memories are a part of this room. And always will be. When she was a baby, she fell off that sofa and cried and cried. One day she tore up her picture book all over the floor here. Another time she drew with crayons all over the window. She painted my portrait on Mother's Day. Scratches on the floor, chipped plates, burn marks on the table, stains on the cushions. Everything you see. It all holds a memory of her. But why?
Do you know anything about Ota?
Ota was one of my students. I taught him in elementary school. I heard it from the police. Ota tried to help Iris and ended up... I don't know what to say. I have no words.
I think I've taken up enough of your time, man.
I'm sorry to have bothered you. I'll be going now.
I don't know what to do. Thinking about her. Dante, please, you have to catch them. Please. Please.
I will. Trust me.
I think those are probably going to be the hardest ones to get out of the way. Jesus. Let's go to the warehouse. Let's do the easy part. We can just turn our brain off and go full clinical inside the warehouse. I stepped into the cold storage warehouse. The air conditioning wasn't running, but it was still cold. The temperature hadn't raised much at all. The cold air sunk into my skin, but the center of my body was burning hot. Iris and Ota were sliced in two by this ice cutting machine. Iris and Ota.
Iris's estimated time of death and cause of death have been confirmed. The video was not a recording. It was a live stream, filmed in real time.
Which means Iris's time of death is 3:20 a.m.
Iris also had her left eye removed.
Yeah.
And like Renju and Shoko, Iris's left eyeball has not been recovered. This forklift is old. It does not appear to be functional. It has not been moved in some time.
About this one. Okay. This one. There's a cardboard box on the floor. There's nothing in it. Iris and Otis' blood.
A video camera and laptop. This is what the criminal used to stream. All of these items have been bought from pawn shops and thrift stores. It would be difficult to determine a suspect from them.
I don't want to see that video again.
I have logged into the Wi-Fi in this warehouse. Okiura Fishery Co., Ltd. is listed as the owner. However, I found the password written directly on the router. Anyone who saw it could have used it. I have done some research. As the name suggests, the company is owned by the Okiuras, the same Okiuras we know. Renju's father created the company.
Another connection to Renju.
No, actually. Currently, Okiura Fishery has nothing to do with Renju. The company has been managed by office representatives for the past 17 years after Renju's father died. Renju holds no shares and is not involved in the management.
I see.
In short, Renju did not inherit the company from his father, and it was instead given to other persons.
But it can't be a coincidence.
It certainly is suspicious.
Right here. Iris and Ota were.
I am sure you are already aware of Ota's time of death.
Just before I arrived. About 3:30 in the morning.
And the cause of death.
Right, about that. Ota had a stab wound from a kitchen knife in his side.
Is there anything else
Correct.
about his
What
body?
was the exact cause of death? Was it the knife wound or...
Something else.
I cannot determine that. I can conclude that the knife wound was at least close to being fatal. Even if Ota was still alive on the workbench, he was certainly on the verge of death. If he weren't already extremely weak, we would expect to see more signs of struggle.
Right. Maybe Ota was trying to help Iris, jumping at the criminal. Led to a scuffle where he got stabbed in the side. He lost all his power to fight back, and is forcibly put inside the costume and cut open by the ice cutting machine.
But why? Why did the culprit put the costume on Ota?
Unknown.
I don't think we'll ever find a good reason.
Date, we should get moving. Officers from the local jurisdiction are checking the warehouse thoroughly. We will not find anything of importance here.
Yeah, you're right.
You can ask CSI to inform you if they find anything.
All right.
Let's go then. I'm leaving. Let me know if you find anything. I'll let them know and left the warehouse. When I left the warehouse, I saw Pewter. What is he doing here? He walked up to me while I was trying to work it out.
Date, I have to talk to you about something.
And what's that?
About the original Cyclops serial killings.
Hey, yo, info?
Why this all of a sudden?
Because I want you to solve this case, Mr. Date. I want you to find who did this and bring them to justice. So, if I can help you, even a little...
I thought that this case was not related to the previous one and would not help me in my investigation. I was told that verbatim from you and Boss.
Why didn't you say anything at Abyss?
The boss was there. I couldn't speak openly in front of her. So, I decided to meet you here.
Does she know you're
All
here?
right. Let's hear it.
Earlier, I told you that I was completely certain the original Cyclops killer couldn't have committed these crimes.
Yeah. I remember.
I am absolutely certain the...
I don't need to recap.
Let me explain why. I'll start by telling you the identity of the Cyclops killer.
Please do.
Although, it's more accurate to say killers.
Excuse me?
More than one?
In the first series of killings, the culprit had an accomplice.
I did notice that. There was somebody in red. I remember that.
One of them was born a murderous psychopath. The other is Rohan Kumakura, the previous chairman of the Kumakuras.
The guy who jumped off the roof last year. And that's why it can't be him committing the murders this year. And his murderous psychopathic killer partner would be us.
They each had a role to play. The murderer committed the homicide, and Rohan removed the eyeball.
Why did this case get classified?
That, I don't know.
The details of the original Cyclops serial killings case have become nebulous over time. Even the official investigation material contains nothing of value. I am unable to draw any conclusions from them.
You really have no idea?
If I did, I would tell you.
Who's the murderous psychopath?
He was born with a brain dysfunction. Due to damage to the posterior pituitary gland, he was unable to properly secrete oxytocin.
Oxytocin is a peptide hormone linked to feelings of love, affection, and trust. It is colloquially referred to as the love hormone.
Yeah, the 9%. I gotcha.
It causes a tranquilizing effect which improves mood and relieves stress. It is normally secreted when the body makes contact with an object of affection, such as an embrace or caress.
I'm sure you know what this implies, but he was unable to feel love in the way that we do. However, he was able to experience a substitute.
Alright, just a moment. I need to grab my food and just shut up at the door. I know this is bad timing, but you're gonna have to deal with it. Alright, I'm back. Here's the deal. Food got here. I'm pretty hungry, so I'm gonna be muting myself during all this exposition. And I'm sure you will all be happier for it. Okay, let's continue.
His brain was wired in such a way that allowed him to feel satisfaction through other means. Due to the unique idiosyncrasies of his brain, he was able to release large amounts of dopamine and endorphins by performing a certain action.
What was it?
You will not hear me slurping coffee.
Murder.
Dopamine is a hormone linked to the reward system of the brain. The pleasant feeling attained through accomplishment is dopamine. Endorphins are a kind of brain narcotic. They dull pain and create a feeling of happiness.
He got pleasure from killing people?
It's slightly more complicated than that. Killing people was the only way he could get pleasure. He was 12 when he took his first life. That enlightened him to the pleasure of murder, which he would do again and again. 18 years ago, Rohan took a woman's eye. She was already dead. He put his finger into her eye socket and gouged it out. The reason why was simple. He was fascinated by women's eyes. Their beauty stimulated his greed and his desire to possess them. He needed to have them, to make them his own.
Yo, anyone relate?
Driven by this instinctive impulse, he took the woman's eye. From then on, he acquired a grotesque obsession with the eyes of dead women. He was very particular about his need that the eye belonged to a deceased woman. But even being the head of a Yakuza gang, there weren't too many opportunities for him to indulge. His deepest, darkest desire went unfulfilled for years. However, he soon met his ideal partner, the aforementioned psychopath. The Cyclops killer would commit the murder, and Rohan would take the eye. Thus, a mutually beneficial relationship was established. This was the origin of the Cyclops serial killings. At about the same time, you were assigned to Abyss.
The original Cyclops killer had an accomplice.
There were 2 Cyclops killers.
And one of them was the former chairman of the Kumakuras, Rohan Kumakura.
Rohan committed suicide by jumping to his death 1 year ago.
That means... Pewter, tell me this. One of the original killers is dead, I know that. But that means one remains. Who is he?
After his fourth murder, he was arrested by the police. They actually picked him up on other charges. But, in any case, he is currently serving a life sentence in Fuchu prison.
Fuchu prison?
Yes.
What's his name?
In prison, he doesn't have a name. He is simply called Number 89.
Number 89?
I know who killed Shogun Adami.
So, now you know why I said that. That the original Cyclops killer couldn't have committed these crimes. Because one is dead, and the other is behind bars. Neither of them had the opportunity.
I feel like we are getting a half-truth, if I'm going to be honest with you. So, we're just gonna have to meet this number 89 before we can find out if it's a full truth or not. For now, let's take a little, Well, I think the story-wise, because we're gonna talk about this in two different ways, gameplay and story. Story-wise, the info was held because, like they were saying, it's not relevant to the case because the real killer is behind bars. It is just a coincidence in their eyes that we do not have memories from 6 years ago and got taken into Abyss. Gameplay-wise, this is really weird pacing, but I can see why they did it at this point, because they need to Pewter needs to gain our trust in some way, because right now he's just a crazy guy in a suit who has a good moral code. And this is a great way for him to do this. Because Boss is professional no matter what. So, at the end of the day, Boss would never let us tell us anything. Unless she is absolutely forced to by HQ themselves. And we do not, and according to them, which I think we can believe them, we do not know why it's classified. It is probably classified because it has something to do with Abyss, is my theory, but we'll have to go further in and find out more. Let's go to Marble and take a break from all the knowledge and just take a second.
Are you okay, honey?
Huh?
About last night. Well, at 3 in the morning, anyway.
You know about it?
It's on every channel. You have the face of a ghost. Do you want a glass?
I don't need a drink. I need information. Do you have anything?
Well, let's see. I do have... I suppose you could call it intuition.
Tell me.
The Kumakuras are involved in this case. Remember what I told you before? That there's a relationship between Ren and the Kumakuras? Shoko also has a relationship with them. You know about her dealings with the Kumakuras, right?
So basically, 2 of the victims are linked to the Kumakuras. That must mean they're involved somehow, right?
Not 2, 3.
3? Iris?
No, not that one. The boy. He came here last night?
Ota?
Yes, from Matsushita Diner. He's linked to the Kumakuras as well. Have you heard the rumor?
Alright, I actually gotta read this out. 8 years ago, So sold his land at the Kabasaki district for 30 billion yen. Half a year later, an explosion at the chemical plant caused the land prices to drop drastically. So he bought back the land for 1 billion. Almost like he knew beforehand the accident would happen. Did So blow it up, or conspire to blow it up? No, that wouldn't make sense. He wouldn't gain anything from that. He would end up 29 billion in cash and 1 billion in land. Net zero. But there's more to the story, apparently.
The Kumakuras own a handful of real estate companies. They, of course, look legit, but they're Yakuza fronts. I'll call those real estate companies the KE to keep it simple for you. The KE followed in So's footsteps. They bought up land in Kabasaki. Now, back to So. Have you heard of the plans for the casino in Kabasaki? So was the one who came up with it.
I was born and raised in Kabasaki. I remember the landscape of my childhood, and I loved it dearly. But look at Kabasaki now. When I see images of the destruction on television, my heart aches like it's being chopped to pieces. But I promise you, I will revive the Kabasaki district at any cost. Casino Town Kabasaki will give new life to the city.
After that, So moved fast. He submitted the bills he needed to the National Assembly after drumming up support in the right places. The bills passed, and it became an official government initiative.
Decontamination efforts therefore increased at a rapid pace in the Kabasaki district. At the moment, the area is still considered off limits. However, the air in Kabasaki is currently purified to such an extent that it has no negative effect on the human body.
If the plan goes smoothly, land prices in Kabasaki are going to skyrocket. And all that land is owned by the KE, and by So himself. The land he bought back for 1 billion will be worth 10 times that soon.
He's involved in some shit.
This is just another rumor, but the chemical plant exploding was no accident. It was done intentionally.
By So and the Kumakuras, you mean?
But there's no hard evidence of that. It's just gossip. What were we talking about again?
Bro, I asked about Oda.
Ota and the Kumakuras.
Oh, right. You know how Matsushita Diner is close to the Kabasaki district? The chemical plant explosion made times hard. Foot traffic went down, sales declined. No wonder it closed down. Ota must hold a grudge. Someone caused that explosion. And if it was intentional, oh, he'd hate them even more. That's how I link Ota to the Kumakuras.
Thank you, Mama. I don't know if what you told me will lead to anything, but...
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to waste your time.
No, it was very helpful.
I'm glad I can help, even if it's just a little.
Well then, be seeing you.
Come back anytime.
Alright, let's head home first, before we head back to work. Maybe Mizuki will be there mad at us or something. Are you? What's got you nervy about it? Just going home. True. All our friends are dead. Push her to the edge. Mizuki is curled up on the sofa. She looks like a small animal frightened by a predator. Yeah, remember when I said all the hard ones? We got them over with early? Nah, I saved this one for last. Okay. Start out strong. Ota. Iris. What do you know about the storage?
Mizuki must know about Iris and Ota.
I mean, it's on the news,
The
dude.
news was distributed heavily across the internet, not just in Japan,
But
worldwide.
worldwide.
3 days ago, Mizuki discovered her mother's body. 2 days ago, her father's. This morning, 2 of her best friends. It is completely understandable that she is at her mental limit.
Imagine losing both your parents within a day of each other, wanting to investigate the murder, and the second you do, your best friends end up being involved in the exact same case and dying. If she recovers from this in any sort of capacity, then she is probably the strongest character ever invented.
Can I be left alone for a while?
Yes, absolutely.
Are you okay?
Why would you ask that, Date? No, she's not okay.
Yeah.
Aiba, contact Abyss. See if they can get Mizuki a good counselor.
Understood.
I stayed with her for a little while, but we didn't speak. Having nothing more to say, I left. Whew! That one hurt my heart more, but it did not feel as hard to get through. Alright. Back to work. For some of us. But I need to do another VOD break. This one's going on for quite a bit, almost an hour. This story is getting so good, I'm so excited. But as for y'all watching this VOD somewhere else, I will stop it for now, and we'll continue in the next part.